Okay, so this is a VOD review for Foreigner. Plays pretty much just Sigma, swaps to Hog at the very last fight. I'll go over it. I am a Hog player first and foremost, so I can give you some tips and tricks there. But obviously, for the most part, this is a Sig gameplay review. And I went ahead and looked at the entire replay, and I'd say the first thing that you should focus on first and foremost, above and beyond everything else, is finding a better sensitivity. Your sensitivity looks absolutely crazy. Like, this is what it looks like when I kind of troll and put my sensitivity at 100% end game and have something that's like an inch or maybe half an inch per 360, right? Um, I don't know what my sense and DPI are off the top of my head. Well, my end game is like 6%. I have no clue what my DPI is off the top of my head. But regardless, it translates to about like a 7 or 8 inch per horizontal movement of my mouse per 360, which is fairly fast but controllable, right? I am a tank player first and foremost, so I'm not going to be playing a lot of tracking characters like Soldier or Sojourn or Sombra or Tracer. They're going to require a lot of like consistent small maneuvers, right? I get a lot of value out of flicks and using my movement to kind of aim in certain cases. You can especially get away with that on tank. That's besides the point, right? That's still considered pretty fast, right? A lot of like hit scan players will sometimes have something like 20 inch per 360s. Tank, I think you can get away with something like mine, right? Obviously, I had no problems playing fairly high rank at tank with a higher than average sensitivity. Just play around with it, right? It really looks like you have an inch per 360 or something like that, which is just completely unmanageable, right? Once people get close to you, you just literally cannot hit anything because your mouse is impossible to control because they're just moving so much more quickly, side to side relative to you, right? When they're like this in your face, they're effectively moving way faster than when they're all the way out here, right? I mean, obviously they're still moving the same speed, but it's way harder to react to. I don't want to go into the specific terminology. It's not that important, and it's very important. And you're struggling a lot to hit people when they're point blank. Obviously, it's going to be hard, kind of no matter what sensitivity you're running, right? Because, like I said, they're basically moving faster relative to you the closer they are to you, but you're basically having like 5% accuracy at this range. That's kind of unacceptable, right? And you're also missing a lot at further ranges just because your sense is so out of whack. I promise you, if you find something manageable, right, like I don't have a good baseline, but put your end game to like 4 or 5% as a baseline and see how that feels, right? For me, that was a little too slow. But just look at other people's sensitivities and just try to find something better than yours. Yours is just exceptionally exceptionally bad. I can guarantee you will struggle to rank up if you keep it as it is. Um, yeah, so I usually don't talk about mechanics, but like this is a pretty easy fix. You'll probably not do as well your first few games as you get used to a new sensitivity, right? You can slowly lower it if necessary and decide on something that feels good to you that's still fast enough, but not so fast it's impossible to control. But yeah, just I implore you, please try to find something that's a little slower at the very least, right? And I'd say the second thing you need to work on, big picture wise, is that your target priorities and like I guess your positioning as a result is a little out of whack, right? You're turning for the Doomfist too much. I guess you could say he's making a good amount of space, but the problem, especially on Sig, when you turn for the Doom, right? And this is almost why you lose a few fights, or this is why you lose a few fights, is when you turn around and your entire team's looking at the Doom, right? There's quite literally no one keeping his entire backline in check, right? As tank, generally speaking, you either have to hit like a really good cooldown, like a good stun on an enemy tank to kill him, especially as Doom, you can hit him with a rock, for example. It's kind of risky, right? If he's playing his cooldowns well and he's playing cover well, it'll be tough. But generally speaking, the main way you kill tanks when you play tank is you deny their resources from following them in, right? So if this Doom overextends, for example, let's say he just jumps in immediately, like right now when his entire team's on cart, sure, you can focus him and try to blow him up. But right, if he jumps in, like say, I'll go for it. Imagine the Doom's here and his entire team's like set up here, set up here, set up here, right? They have angles on you, and you just can't. At that point, you just can't turn on the Doom because now the entire backline can just shoot your entire team for free, and the Doom's kind of doing his job, right? You need to consistently deny the Doom support. And when I say support, I mean quite literally his support players and his follow-up from his DPS, right? And you just have to play in a better position than the enemy tank. So you take as few resources as possible, but the enemy Doom Fist will take as many resources from his team as possible to stay alive or just die, right? Because he'll be denying whatever follow-up he has, right? So there are a lot of things, other little things I'll go over in this replay, but those are like the two primary things that you should really be looking forward or looking to improve on if you want to rank up, right? So on this map, as Sig, I think you actually get a lot of value by starting down here. Your Anna can still heal you pretty easily, right? If she needs to back up, play this corner, she can. And if you have a shield, right, and I guess you obviously have to worry about Widows. If you have a shield from here to here, right, she's pretty safe from getting headshot. The problem with playing with your team, right, is Sig, you really want to like force crossfires as much as possible with your team, right? So if your entire team's up here, right, obviously you don't want to flank, but if you play down here, now the enemy team has two angles of attack they have to worry about if they want to cross the space, right? If the Doom jumps up top, right, you're not getting hit, you're taking no resources from your team, but if the Doom jumps you, that means your DPS are free to shoot the enemies, you know, and any way they see fit, right? But if you sit up here and stack with your team, now the Doom just jumps up here, right? I mean, if he literally just jumps in, slams and punches in, he's just gonna get like slept and rocked and die. But if he plays it semi-intelligently, right, he's gonna be kind of denying this angle from your entire team and allowing the entire enemy team to swing in, right? So this is kind of the case on, you know, if you swap the Hog with any regularity, it's the same concept on Hog, right? That's why a lot of people say Hog's a brawl tank. No, he's really not, because you definitely do not want to stack with your team on Hog, right? It's the same concept on Sig. You have to force angles and force the enemy team as well, right? Just split their attention as much as possible, because you just can't withstand 5 people like zoning you out. You don't have the actual sustain and like reliable burst damage to like beat people that just run into you, right? So here, let me back up just a little. Too busy explaining that. Here, you're just kind of wasting your shield, right? It's not really blocking any useful damage, right? The Doom's literally blocking. I think the only person shooting it right now is the soldier, right? He's kind of tickling it. You don't want to be using your shield to kind of take insignificant damage like this, really. You want to be using it to take like big bursts when you swing corners with your team. Ideally, usually you'll be swinging and like your team will do, you know, who knows what, right? Or to block important cooldowns. Like let's say they have an Ana, you can block their sleep or nade, or you know they don't really have very important cooldowns for you to block against this comp. Like for example, something like Soldier's Rocket, like a big burst damage cooldown. Otherwise, you don't want to just get chipped down like this, right? You kind of got no value. I guess it helped your Widow get a pick, right? But that's unless you're doing with this Widow, right? And you're like calling, I'm gonna shield for you, right? That's not very consistent. It's better to start down here to start, you know, to begin with. And I'm sure you can see, I'm not gonna bring it up pretty much ever again this game, because it's gonna be like beating a dead horse, because I already spent so much time at the beginning of this review. You're just missing so much because you're just impossible. The sensitivity is impossible to control. It really is, right? So. And here, I'm sure you can see how awkward it is, because you're kind of like, your positioning is really awkward. You're letting these people get too close to you, right? But if you're just here to begin with, they'd have, again, more angles to worry about. And because you're playing here, your entire team has to back off. So, right, they don't get slam punched by the Doom, right? To beat Doom, you don't want to give him, you want him to like choose who does like slam on and play within peel distance from your team at all times, which is no consequence to you. But now, because you're playing this awkward position, right, you're baiting out all your support's attention. So there's a Moira to your right. She's been there for a while. Should be looking to back up. Just lost your Widow, so your Mercy has to res her, and you're also right. Didn't really need a grasp there. You're full health. Dude had his punch. Here, just keep walking. No need to rock. Ideally, you should be looking forward, looking Oh, sorry, yeah, I guess looking to walk forward and just shoot them to kill them, right? Or pressure them out. So here you should know the soldier's top. Here, just keep running after him, low ground, because either he runs away and you catch off his exit, or he chooses to stay high, right? He just stays up here, and you just wrap behind him and block his exit off, right? Just by literally walking into him, you're gonna win that fight. And his tank's still dead, right? Like you have to hard troll against their comp to die right now. There's no risk of you dying now as long as you don't go AFK. If you just cut off this soldier's exit, right? He can't win a 1v1. It's perfectly fine. I'd say basically no reason to shield right here, right? You effectively already have a shield. I mean, the car here is basically a shield for you. I'll show you from from their perspective ish, right? You can see if you just walk to your left or their right side, right? I'm obviously going to do it from the Doomfist perspective. You're completely invisible if you just go behind this car, right? There's no reason to shield here when you already have good cover, right? I would almost say getting better with shield is almost another thing I'd work on, and it is, but it's so insignificant compared to like the other mistakes you're making. So here, I'd say no reason to back up, right? Your team's set up, your entire team's here, and they're gonna have a hard time crossing this corner because the Doomfist takes a while to set up, right? If he just if he just slams and punches in, right? That's what he's gonna need to do to get to your team. And if he doesn't instantly like punch someone into a wall, he's gonna have to wait for another cooldown rotation to do anything. And that gives you an opportunity to zone out his team and like let your team blow him up, right? There's kind of no reason to be running away. Again, should be holding shield open for no reason, right? Just let it regen. I think this is a fine shield. You know, your Widow got the pick with it earlier, so it's worth a shot. Good rock. Obviously, after your Widow got the pick, I would be dropping the shield. Okay, good. Unfortunate ult from your soldier. Ult's totally useless, but it is what it is, right? So here I'd be going set up at the cart, not the cart, the actual truck again. And since you waste all this time rotating high ground, right? Notice how their entire team floods in for free, right? You do have to be careful because they have a Juno speed ring. So if you overstay your welcome here for too long, they'll rush you and kill you. But at the very least, you're going to be spamming like this corner, right? So they can't get a free entrance. And the only people we have to worry about are the Genji that dash in and the Doomfist that has to use his mobility cooldowns to get in, right? If you notice, there's a common theme by playing the appropriate and spamming the appropriate corners. They either take a ton of spam walking in, or they have to burn their movement cooldowns to get in, which means they can't commit on your backline, right? A Genji without dash can't insta-kill anyone on your team, and a Doomfist without his punch and slam can't insta-kill anyone on your team, right? So it's like buying you and your team extra time to do something. Okay. Still works out. Keep best to walk forward. I'd say no reason to shield, just let it regen, right? Their comp's really low damage at this point. Okay, good rock.
I greet thee.
You see, again, you're letting these people walk in for free. Right. I mean, this guy ends up good sleep by your Ana. The soldier gets intro picked, but you should be the one helping your soldier get the intro pick on the other soldier, right? Guess you're talking or typing or something, not entirely sure, but ideally you won't be doing this, right? You'll be trying to pressure the rotations through choke, right? So.
Hello.
I think you probably already know what I'm going to say. If this Doom's better, he won't be getting hit by all these things, right? He's just making it very obvious. Unfortunately, two people on your team get insta-killed, not quite sure how that happens. Actually, I am somewhat sure why that happened. It's because you're not able to control this choke, right? Imagine if you're playing here and you see them all wide peak, right? Ignore the Doom, right? I mean, your Ana's been hitting good sleeps on him, but this Doom, if your Ana sleeps him, is probably going to be dead no matter what, right? Your Widow literally just shoots him in the head and he dies if he gets purpled or something like that. If you were just watching this choke, so the Doom's entire backline can't come in for free and like ult them right now, you could win the fight, right? At least stall them. You don't necessarily need to ult because they just did use their Juno ult, so you probably can't kill anyone. But just stalling them, right, gives your team a chance to do something. Because now, sure, you were the last one to die, but you let these people kind of like the exact same thing. The previous fights, you let them walk in for free without doing anything, right?
I'll
And they
assist
just
the
popped ults
maiden.
and won.
Hello.
I'm gonna go forward just a little bit, just to test. So here, let me watch this. I would say don't go for the pre-rock because they do have a Doom Fist. They have a way of actually punishing you, right? The Doom can just immediately come up here and start doing stuff. If they're on like a Sig mirror, right, I think it'd be okay just to throw a random rock. But this seems like it is really, in the grand scheme of things, a really small mistake. But you guys, it snowballs into a big mistake because now your team's out of position and the soldier just runs up and wipes your team with Visor, right? I don't really think this one's like fully on you. Here, right, I'd just be backing away immediately. Sure, you kill the Doom. Should have kept backing out. Or they're on you, I'd just be dying as fast as possible. I don't really think this fight's like totally on you. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say you made a small mistake, right, and just randomly rocked and the Doom capitalized. But your team kind of was not in a good position. They should have known that you were the last one to die last fight, and I don't really feel like super staggered, so it's okay. Be careful walking this far in, right? If the Doom's smart, he can slam here and punch you into his team, so you die. The reason I say be careful going all the way over here is because your team does not have LOS on you. What you should be doing is swinging the angle wide, like over here, for example, and spamming these people out so your team can walk in, right? And you're still in LOS of your Ana, right? If your Ana really wanted to be super safe and play across the map, like up here, for example, and be impossible to get to, and she could still heal you. I don't think it's ideal from her to do that, but it's something to do. But if you walk all the way up here, look how like dangerous your Ana has to play to heal you, right? She has to come all the way out here, and she's in LOS of the soldier. If the sojourn like walks to her left, or your Ana's right for a second, right, she's immediately in LOS. That's very dangerous to her, and she's also obviously very easy to get punched too. So. And this is also another possibility, right? You just get completely ignored because you take a bad angle, right? And your entire team is swinging and you're not in position to like, I wouldn't say peel for them, but to like stop anyone else from walking forward, right? You can't see your team here, right? The Doom just completely ignores you. And since you're not controlling this right lane, the Sojourn is able to keep walking to the side and keep shooting your team, right? I don't know if she actually did any damage to your team. Not that important because she could have. At higher ranks, maybe the Doom doesn't solo kill your teammates some way somehow, but the Sojourn will help, right? You won't get punished necessarily by the Doom just insta-killing everyone, but the Doom will be doing slam and punch damage to your team, and the Sojourn will get the final blows, right? Because you're out of position. Okay, pretty good ult. They're all overextended, chasing a little too hard. I'm sure you can see how effective it is when you just turn around and punish these people for being this aggressive, right? Yep, this is fine. Just chase the kills. I'm sure you can see how awkward it is. I guess that'll be the last time I bring it up, but it's very awkward. Right? Your sense is so high. So I'm sure you can see just by shooting the backline, right? It's very effective because you zone the entire team. So if you're getting punched out of rock a bit, like a lot, I'd just wait until he blows both his cooldowns to use your rock, right? You want him to be blocking with no cooldowns. They'll do it all the time in Plat, right? Here you're out of position a little, right? Once the Doom's up here, you don't want to be in this open space anymore. You want to be taking this corner so you don't get flanked and blown up by the people coming lower, right? You can rotate here, still spam lower, and you can rotate here, for example, still spam lower. It's slower, I mean, not slow. A short rotation is what I was trying to say. Rotation just to get healed by your Ana, no problem. It's not that big of a deal. But you don't want to be just sitting out here in the open, getting punched around, you're taking a ton of damage, right? So you're a little too far forward, right? Just get flanked on the right side. So you can see, because you're putting so much emphasis on this Doom, this entire team is able to walk forward. Right? They're pretty much ignoring you. Sig doesn't do a whole lot of burst, so you have to play like these long angles and spam them down and not let them get in for free in the first place, right? Go forward just a little. I don't think he touches points, so not really losing anything. Tired by your jump, unfortunately. Just couldn't touch. Again, you know, if your shield's just in the open, recall it. No reason not to. Just let it sit out there. Here, I'm not much of a fan of holding this close, but it's okay. You know, they're kind of letting you get away with it. So here, right, it's going to be hard for you to kill anyone in a Juno ult with your Flux. Really, what you want to be doing here is not lifting them on this side of the thing. I think your only way of winning this fight, as is now, right, is to wait for them to overextend over here, for example, and try to Flux anyone on this side of the doorway, right? If you Flux anyone on this side of the doorway, look where they get lifted up, right? You can't attack them anymore without running into a Juno ult, and that's pretty much suicide, right? When you Flux, right, you can't use any of your defensive cooldowns, so it'll just explode. What alternatively you could have done is Flux early, right? See what cooldowns they use, right? Before you even use, like, you know, commit on your Flux, right? You hit Q and just don't hit left mouse button right away. Wait to see if they use any movement cooldowns, and then punish their movement cooldowns, right? Like, you could even solo ult this Moira here once she lands from her fade, and just like solo ult her, fly in this room, shoot her, for example, right? She has no fade, she can't get away. Right, their options. See if anyone slides in after, like, the soldier runs in, the soldier slides in, and like after they commit those cooldowns, and you know, lift them up in the air and zone them, something along those lines, right? I don't think it's a great opportunity, great option, I should say, but just ulting them on the other side of the wall is like not the play. Unfortunately, Juno ults is like really overpowered, so it's tough to kill people in it. And it's hard to kite because she just speeds people in. You almost make it as harder on yourself by walking forward, right? You could have this isn't an aim thing. You could have kept shooting here, so the shots ricochet off here and blow up on the Sojourn, right? Like I said earlier, you know, sometimes you have to get close, but now you're just out of nano. Unfortunately, this one's... It's okay. Swap Hog here. Wait for your team, right? No reason to peek right now because it's a literal 1-on-5. There's no one else for them to shoot except for you, so you're just gonna lose all your HP. I will say, you know, even if you hit that hook, yeah, you get a kill and switch it to a soon-to-be 5-on-4, but you still waste all your health and your breather to do so, right? Because now if the Doom drops on you and you don't heal like immediately, you're in risk of dying, right? I'm sure you can imagine if this Doom was better, and he punches you out of heal, he possibly could have killed you before your Moira got back, right? He was just kind of trolling by just quite literally doing nothing, so... You know, don't hook the Doom here. I don't know if you noticed, the Sojourn was on your right side. You see she's walking to you right now? Don't look at the Doom, he's unkillable right now. He can get double pocketed, and he can just like slam or jump away. You know, slam or punch away from whatever you do. Even though you're hooking him on a block, he's full HP, and he has double pocket. He's literally never gonna die, so... And now I'm sure you can see the mistake of you peeking too early means now you have no breather and you're like half health on point. I'm sure you can also imagine, right, if you punish the Sojourn for just walking this, you know, when your Moira coalescence about 5-10 seconds ago, and just punish her and hit the hook on her and killed her right now, now you'd actually be in a good spot, right? Because they wouldn't have the Sojourn ult coming in, and you'd be fighting a 5-on-4. Good hook. You aimed too high. Not that important because she probably gets healed there anyways. And Sojourn's not possible to kill through healing because her player model is too small. But if you aimed a little further down, you would have been able to one-shot her. Waited a little while longer and aimed a little further down. Not super important unless you're a hog, big time hog player. But yeah, that's the end of the round. Go on here.
3, 2, 1.
It's fine. Honestly, playing with cards tank on this map's fine, because Sig's so slow anyways. No reason to do this, right? If you want to shield the Hanzo from shooting your team, just shield right here. You know, something like this. Because now when you shield up here, right? Sure, you deny this angle from him, but what happens when he just literally rotates over here? Now he can just shoot on your backline for free, but if you just shield like here, you know, the corner, for example, he just can't shoot your team at all because the shield's in the way, right? I see a lot of SIGs do this. It's okay in like specific scenarios, right? For example, like on Havana, there's that one Widow spot, you know, I think you know what I'm talking about on last. You shield that off, and that kind of denies her from taking it, and because it's like such a strong spot, but like 99% of the time, you can just shield your team like close range. Here, you can be playing a little slower, right? You're just taking a lot of resources, right? And you have to push the card anyways. You can use the card as cover, right? Similarly to how I said you can use this car or truck as cover on first instead of wasting your shield. Just use it as cover and just peek out every once in a while and spam your shots, right? Like there's no reason for you as Sigma to be sitting out in the open because you can only fire a gun so fast, right? Okay, I do like how you're trying to shoot the Moira here though. It's good. I think it's okay to be shooting the Doom now. Just force him away from your venture. Here, because you're not playing cover, you're just eating a ton of damage from this Ashe, right? What you could have done is walk over here, right? You just still spam the Doom lower, you can still spam the Life Weaver upper, and you can even just peek a little wider out and shoot the Ashe, or shoot the Moira, right? You have options, but look how much safer you are from their POV, right? Just imagine, you'll be like your Venture's Rock. Just look how much harder you are to shoot. Obviously, you're not literally Venture's Rock, but if you just back up to your left for like half a second, you can still get healed, right? By your Ana or Kiri, and you're perfectly safe. But by staying out in the open, right, you're just forcing your supports to tank you when they want to be doing something else. I will say Moira, if you know Moira has her fade, right, don't rock, because rock has a really long wind-up. It's very telegraphed. So just shoot her and force that fade and see if you can like kill her afterwards. I'd say like 99% of the time. But you can see how effective it is when you just ignore the Doom Fist, right? You're keeping, they don't really have to be looking at you, but they're looking at you anyways. And you're distracting 3 people and you're perfectly safe, right? And their Doom is just making mistakes of feeding into your backline for no reason. Here, it's good to go chase, right? Get the kills. I would have kept walking a little sooner. At the end of the world, it's gonna be hard to kill through a double pocket. Backline's hard to kill here. Just force them to like heal each other is okay. I will say play range a bit more, right? It makes it easier to hit the shots because the Sigma's projectiles explode at their max range, right? Just keep punching them. Here, you should have shielded that. Oh, you still had your shield open for no reason, right? You should have dropped it. I didn't even recognize that because I'm just... It's not a mistake people ever make, right? I mean, I guess fair enough. The Sigma is not going to just randomly walk in like this either. You should not... you just have to micromanage your shield. You can't ult her here, right? She just used her fade, and it makes her a really easy kill, right? Once your Curie popped Rush, I'd probably say no. I'd say read for your ult, but it's optional to certainly destroy. Common theme with Sig ult, wait for them to use cooldowns, and then you can punish them after that. Unfortunate, your Ana shouldn't have damaged you, it's kind of useless, you can't do anything with this. Here, just get it back. Once they bobbed you, you should have tried to dodge it and just kept kiting away from it. It's a really bad nano for your Ana. I would just die here. Yeah, you can't win this, unfortunately. They just use their ults were better use, I should say. It's very possible to get chased and die here. You should just kept running. You should, since you got out, keep kiting up here. And you can see, if you just kite it up here, for example, your Ana can heal you, and you won't be in danger of dying, right? By about walking into them, it's probably suicide. I'm not sure if you die here or not. Probably not, because your Ana can tank you enough. Here, right? Yep, okay, good. I was about to say opportunity to rock your sig. Okay, you see the pull is out. I'd be looking to use my ult at some point, right? Even solo ulting's fine. Okay, that's pretty good, right? I'm not quite sure why you didn't shoot anyone, but that was a really good ult, right? You know, they didn't have pull. Say you shielded yourself off so he couldn't rock you. I think you rocked, but not that important, right? Here, when you get fluxed, you should just hold your shift, right? You had it. No reason not to. And I will say, y'all just go a little further back. Okay, so yeah, it's good thing you shielded. I thought you didn't use rock, but I wasn't 100% sure. I was too busy trying to wonder why you weren't shooting. I guess maybe you weren't sure who to shoot in this specific scenario. Shoot the Moira. She's the only one that can heal. Right? I mean, if you shoot anyone else, the Lifeweaver and Moira can double pocket them. But if you shoot the Moira, right, she's the best target. Because only one person can pocket her, right? If you see your team shooting someone else, just shoot them. But I'm sure you can see, even if you shot literally anyone, you would have gotten, like, you would have wiped their team, right? Their Sig's probably, it's hard to tell my recording things above his name. Yeah, I was about to say probably like 100-ish health. He's 290 apparently. So he was getting tanked or something. I'll watch it for a second. Okay, yeah, so he was like 300. If you kept shooting, right, you've been in a much better scenario because your team can kill him as he flies up in the air here. Seems like you kind of lose track of the Sig. Forward a little. So you get like a really good ult there, but because you don't shoot, right? Literally shoot anyone. Ideally, like you pick one target and shoot them, but you gotta shoot there. You get like one kill and lose the fight. This is one scenario where you can just shield off, like right here, right? Because the rotations for them to go anywhere else are really slow, and this is a hard angle for your team to go through, right? So this is a scenario where it's perfectly fine just to shoot off one angle, right? Nice shield. Getting a little too close, right? No reason to be running this far in. See how much damage you're taking for no reason. You didn't really have a good advantage to push on. Okay, you force out both support ults. It's your best to fight. You should have been playing a little further back. If your team feeds there, they feed, but they had 3 ults. You guys had none. I don't really think that one's on you. You forced out both support ults, so it's okay. Drop the shield, yeah. Don't even fight here, right? Same thing, same mistake you made on Hog, right? You can poke from like far away. If you're gonna poke, right, you can just stay around here so you can't get shot by the people above. Because you know your soldier's like an idiot for doing this. Honestly, I'm sorry, Akaku, but like he should not be peeking now either because it's much more risky for him because he can just get like insta killed. Right? They shouldn't be losing this fight. It's a 3-on-5. Yeah, and you end up overextending and dying because your team is dead, right? Your Ana probably had to pocket your soldier so he didn't die, right? There's just too much damage right now. Moving forward a little bit. Spam that angle, spam the Ash away, right? Force her to move. No one's shooting you, no reason to do that right there. Shoot, I'm not, I don't know why you're not shooting, right? In principle, it should be free damage, right? And because you're not shooting, you're letting them, like, you're basically wasting an ult and just eating damage, like, intentionally. Okay, good kill, regardless. Mechanics there. Here, shoot the Lifeweaver. The Sig's realistically not going to die unless you have, even if you have 100% accuracy, it'll take way too long to kill the Sig, right? I think you do like 70 damage per second, something like that. Light beam kills for like 60-ish, right? So it'll take you literally a minute to kill the Sig, something like that. It's okay to give up space when they use support ults, by the way. Right. You're kind of baiting your team to fight in the support ult, which is what you don't want to do, right? Same mistake you made earlier. This time you just kept walking forward, right? You have time to play with on the timer, so no reason to do that.
30 seconds.
I don't know if you can touch. I think your Somber Reaper can touch. Yeah, playing outside of cover, bad. You're just getting a lot of damage here, right? Unfortunately, nothing you do. You can't force out enough cooldowns, right? They have grip, so if you solo ult someone, you won't get any kills, unfortunately. Okay, so I'll reiterate. You really need to just pick a better sense so you can be more consistent hitting shots, right? It probably, like I said earlier, it'll probably be a week or two before you get acclimated to it. And you can like incrementally lower your sense until you find something that's comfortable and like where you're actually hitting more shots, right? And I guess, like I said earlier, positioning needs some work, right? And I think when I say positioning here in this specific scenario, I mean target priority, right? I went over a few other things. And by target priority, I mean just like using your position to deny the enemy tank support from their backline the vast majority of the time, right? Especially against Doomfist, right? Very important. And this goes for like dive in general, generally speaking, um, right? Okay. And of course, there are a lot of other smaller things. I mean, I wouldn't say they're small necessarily, but not as important as these two things. Um, I'd say I'd want to add cover usage. Actually, I'll add that. I think you really need to play covers better. Okay. I hope this helps.